Us.
Yeah. Oh, there's Sean.
Mhm.
Let's see. I'm gonna create a post on my uh, community page.
Oops, it's hello, Sean. Mhm. Sean is here.
Hey, brother Sean.
Hello, Sean. Thank you for coming.
Hello, Sean.
So today I will welcome my two panelists in this corner, wear, wearing.
Hey, brother Sean. How you doing? We gotta get some people in here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So my
Okay.
co-host for today is Regiman. He's from Florida, and Bruce from Mississippi.
Yahoo!
What's
All right.
Sean is saying there?
He
Huh?
said, "Hey, all, welcome me. Fine, good. Yeah, that's good, brother Sean. Day was nice weather. Yeah, we had nice weather here too, but boy, we sure need rain. We
Ah,
are
yeah.
running way short on having enough rain here to.
But
Uh,
is summer gone now in there?
well, that's true, but see, uh, even though summer's over, uh, you got a lot of like big trees here, and these big trees, man, they're dying. They're so thirsty, they're turning brown. A lot of them are, and they're doing it way earlier than they should. Right now we haven't had any temperatures getting down below freezing yet,
But
and
does it snow there, Bruce?
it's rare. I mean, we do get snow, but it's not very often. You know, Mississippi's just too far south, and where Todd is, where Radio Man is, that's even further south, and
Mm.
so
Look at Sean now. Yes, a skeleton Bruce. You're in my new church. You look different. So how about you, Radio Man? How's the weather there in Florida?
Well, it's we had a very hot summer, just like Bruce did, and it's definitely cooled down. But I think the highs are around 80, and lows are probably down into the low 70s or high 60s, which seems kind of cold, but I still enjoy it. Better than where I came from, that's for sure.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
What's that about? I'm in your new shorts, brother Sean. I'm
Yeah, but
sorry, Radio Man. I didn't mean to
oh, that's
interrupt,
all right.
Mr.
But yeah, the
Comedian out
but,
there.
but it doesn't snow in Florida, right,
no,
Rich?
and not where I'm at anywhere. I'm
Mhm.
kind of in Central Florida. Now in northern Florida, more towards Bruce, I think I don't know. They probably get the snow every 5 years or something like that, but it's very short lived. It only lasts for
Oh, it'll melt
a
off so
day.
fast. That's how it does here.
Yeah, so it doesn't last very long. But when you're used to real hot weather and then it turns down to like 70, it seems chilly, but you just kind of get used to the hot weather. But like I say, it's better than I used to actually live up towards where Sean is from, and I'm sure he knows how cold it gets up there. It's gets way below zero and lots of snow at times. So I'm glad I'm here. So, anyways,
Ito, JG, where JG is, he gets a lot of snow. New York
Well,
has lots of snow, right, Bruce?
oh yeah, well yeah, it's up in the northeast part of the country. Uh, so it's at a much. Uh, let's see. I don't know exactly what the latitude is there, but it is. It gets colder up there, and where Sean is too. It gets colder.
Mm.
They do get snow up in the northeast and the Midwest, uh, and then like where JG is, sometimes they get like these nor'easters. Now
So
that's
what month will it start snowing?
well, let's see. You might want to ask JG. Actually, how you doing, JG?
Hello, JG.
Yeah, ask brother Sean. They
Sean,
can
what
they
month?
would know better than I would. Because here it's not going to surprise me if we don't get a bit of snow. You know,
Mhm.
uh, and right now, you know, we're just crying out for rain here right now. You know,
I think
mainly
in
because
Florida
I
it's
mean,
right.
like it's gotten so dry that they've placed a burn ban uh, everywhere. The other day when the after the cold front came through and
Mm-hmm.
cooled it down, they had this red alert going, which meant that there was uh, they said the potential uh, potential for possible fire starting was at a very high level because the humidity was so low, and we don't usually get stuff like that, but we we sure got a bunch of it uh, here recently with this. Summer was extremely dry. I mean, we went over 2 months uh, without any rain, and we had temperatures like soaring up above, uh, I mean, like way up in the uh, like high 90s and 100s, which I'm talking Fahrenheit now. You could say probably, uh, up around 37, 38, 39, 40 degrees Celsius, and then there's this thing called heat index. And that's when, you know, it's that's caused by humidity in the air, and it makes it feel hotter than it really is, you know. So, like, say if it got to be 100 degrees outside, it'd feel like it was 110. That's on the Fahrenheit scale. Anyway, upstate New York gets tons of snow. Could start early as October in the mountains. Here in New York City, we haven't had a real snow in 2 years. Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, here in the Philippines, it doesn't snow
Yeah.
here.
Let's see where Sean lives in Chicago. You got a little bit different uh, situation there because it's further inland, but it is right on the shore of one of the Great Lakes, and it's known as the Windy City, and they get some very high winds off of that. So they get snow up there. Let's see, the last few winters have been very weird because one time in winter we had 70 degrees. Yeah, and see you know we even had like a mild winter last year. I mean, yeah, we had cold days, but we didn't get any snow, and it was rather warm here. So now down where Radio Man lives, And I've been down to around Orlando before in the winter. Uh, and yeah, the nights will get kind of cool, but it didn't get cold. But what, maybe once every, how many years, Todd? Y'all get a freeze warning down there.
Yeah, it can definitely yeah, like it gets in the low 30s. I don't know, maybe once or twice during the winter, but usually that's like at 2 or 3 in the morning. So
Yeah, and see if it does it there. If they get a temperature like that in down where he lives, uh, we're getting some sure enough cold weather up here.
yeah,
You know, but still cold here, temperature wise, is still nothing like what it would be up around where Sean lives, or in places further north. You know, Mississippi has a very mild winter climate, but it's a very the summertime is quite different, and it gets extremely hot here. But it we've had some summers that weren't as bad as others. But this summer was really bad, and plus we didn't get any rain for over 2 months, and I remember before this drought happened. I mean, we were getting rain back in the spring. We were getting a lot of rain, you know, pretty good bit of rain actually. But then
is
once we got into, I think it was after the 4th of July. I mean, all of a sudden it was like the water just got turned off, and we weren't getting any rain.
typically you get a lot of rain up there. I mean, isn't I don't know if it's you or Alabama. I think gets the most rain in the country, isn't it?
Actually, it's Louisiana, uh, and it may be that Hawaii actually has the most rainfall, but it's followed by Louisiana and then Mississippi.
Yeah, we get in the summertime when the humidity's up there. We get rain every day, but
Hmm.
it only rains for you know half hour maybe, and then it's dry in another half hour. So, but when it
Right.
rains, it sure does rain.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing you get rain like that, because if you were in a situation where you weren't getting rain and being further south like that, that would be that could be get to be pretty bad.
Yeah, it would get bad. Yeah, when it gets dry down here, there's forest start.
It's chicken, JG.
He knows,
Mhm.
JJ knows.
Yep, I got caught.
Uh,
Probably we should invite JG to represent the city. City, because
I've
he.
actually experienced some of both, but I grew up in a city, and I spent most of my years, uh, living in the city. And even now, even though I live out in like a small place out in the country, uh, I'm not really doing anything out here as far as like some what would be considered something like you know farming, or you know anything like that. So no, I don't have like in fact, this little neighborhood I live in, you know, uh, everybody that lives right around here, uh, they go to their jobs. And most of them probably commute up to Jackson or the Jackson area just like I do. You know, I mean, even though I live way out here, I still, my job at Walmart uh, is, it's in a suburb of Jackson, so it's, you know, this what I'm doing. Really, it's not like I'm living in the country. It's like I'm commuting out to a place that's, yeah, it's outside the city, but it's not like I'm going out to my farm or anything. I just go to my home, go where I live, and it's okay. It's nice and quiet out here.
Yeah, that's one thing nice about living in the country. It's quiet.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's people around here that have dogs, and sometimes you hear them howling. You know.
I sent the link to StreamYard to JJ and Sean if they want to join the panel.
Oh, okay.
I sent the link to at the messenger,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Facebook Messenger.
Okay. Sean says they had a great summer. That he enjoyed his garden a lot. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, Sean and JG, they both live in some really big cities.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson's just it's considered a middle sized city, but I don't know if Jackson's kind of unique in a way because it might be a middle sized city, but it's and it's definitely got some of the characteristics of a big city, but it's filled up. Now that nowadays there's a lot of crime there, and there's a lot of stuff that's just run down. Infrastructure's bad. The people that have remained there have just let stuff run down. There's a lot of abandoned buildings in Jackson now, both residential as well as businesses. They can't, you see for sale signs up, and they can't get rid of them. Nobody wants to go there. People are afraid to go there, and it's because of the crime.
Yeah, it makes it difficult.
Hmm. I was actually, my wife and I were a victim of a crime in our home back in 1982. And we moved out of that neighborhood. But, you know, the more time went on, the more it just kept going down. It was like West Jackson went down first, and then it was followed by, uh, let's see, North and then South Jackson. Uh, just, you know, it was terrible. I mean, I don't know, but now that I don't work for the city of Jackson anymore, I don't really have. Every now and then, I might have a reason to drive to Jackson, but if I don't have to go, I don't. And that's pretty much how a lot of people feel about it here in Mississippi about Jackson. Jackson used to be a nice place to go and visit, but
Mhm.
people they don't want to go there now. And it's really a shame, you know. And
Isn't that where the state capital is?
yeah, it's the state capital. It's terrible what's
Wow.
happened to Jackson. Here it is, the capital city of Mississippi, and people have just left it by leaps and bounds, and it was because of the crime.
Yeah. Well, hopefully things will change and it will start going the other way.
Well, we hope so. Uh, I think what uh, things can get very dark before before things can get better a lot of times.
Yeah.
And but yeah, infrastructure, that's another problem they have there. Now, a lot of these mistakes were actually, a lot of things happened back many years ago, back before, uh, back, gosh, I would say as far back as maybe in the 70s and 80s. They should have begun to do something about the water problems, you know, and they didn't do it. They kept just, you know, putting it off, putting it off. Now they've got a tremendous problem with the water there, and that's another thing. When you got problems with your water in a city like Jackson, people don't want to stay around for that. I mean,
Yeah, you can't really blame them.
yeah, they'll move to these little towns that are around.
Yeah, well, welcome to the stage,
Yeah,
the New York guy.
yeah, they'll move out to the.
Cut.
Hey, JG, how you doing?
Well, good evening or good morning.
I
City
asked
life.
I asked JG to the panel because he can speak up uh about Philippines. He been to the city and as well as the small town. So I invited him so he can speak for
Sure.
himself. Like, I mean, I can
Well,
only.
well, sure. What's your question?
My question is, how was your experience first in the city?
Cities in the Philippines?
Yeah, and because you stayed in Manila, right, for the first days.
Yeah, I like. No, I like Manila and I like Cebu. Two bigger cities there. I fit in. I mean, like where I stayed, Makati. I mean, that might as well be New York City. No different, just cheaper.
So it's cheaper than compared to because
Oh
they said
yeah,
the BGC, the Bonifacio Global City, it's the New York city of the Philippines.
yeah. When I was there, it was still being built, so there was nothing really to go and see then. But I've seen, plenty of videos of it. Yeah, I mean that's an expensive New York City neighborhood, BGC. I think those kind of places are good for people who, need time to adapt to change, from culturally speaking, and then especially if you don't want to, because like a lot of guys that go over there are retired. So I never understood why, no matter where they live, they wanted to live in the middle of nowhere in the province where you just can't go down the street and find something that you want. So I prefer the convenience. Now I do like to get away to the country, a few days, whatever, clear your brain, relax. But I can't see myself actually living out, even here. I mean, if I just went, 3 hours upstate, it would be a whole new world. I mean, I'd be in the middle of nowhere, isolated.
So, what's your comment about the traffic? Is it like, I mean, is it near the traffic in the big city? Like, is it the same?
Yeah, it's very similar, but I mean, to me, it's not that big of a difference because I'm not coming from the country. I'm used to dealing with New York City traffic, and listen, during rush hours when everybody's trying to go to work in the morning, 7 to 10, something like that, and then coming home at night from work, 3 to 7 at night. It's just like that here. No difference. Like when I seen you driving with your Tata in the car. I mean, that's just like normal traffic for me. I don't look at that and go, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot." It's like, no, I see that every day. I drive in it every day.
Hello, Ken Unger. Haven't
Hey,
Kenny
seen.
Ken,
Younger.
how you doing? Good to see you.
Like personally, I think if you took Bruce from Mississippi and dropped him in the middle of Manhattan, that'd be a hard time for him. That could
You're
just be so
probably
different.
right. You are probably right.
I don't even like
We
driving in
don't.
Manhattan.
Yeah, we don't have anything nowhere near that big in Mississippi.
Yeah, it's just what you're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's the key thing is what you're used to and what you grew up in.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
How
like,
about how about you, Regimen? Do you live in a big city right now? I mean, in the Philippines is very small, and if you want to go to the province, you will just drive few hours, not like in the U.S. It's big. So, are you in a big city right now in Florida?
Yeah, it's considered a big city. I mean, I think Orlando itself, if you look it up, the population isn't really that much, but all the cities connected to it, it makes it large. I mean, I
Plus,
think
it's a
there's close.
huge tourist spot there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I
mhm.
think there's close to 3 million people, and we get it. I think we get over 50 million visitors a year, so that adds to it too. And the traffic at times can be very slow. I don't know if it's as slow as maybe Washington D.C. or New York City, but it's still you have to definitely plan for it. You don't want to be traveling during rush hour, that's for sure.
No, and that's why it wouldn't bother me if I lived in a big city in the Philippines because I would be off hours. I wouldn't be traveling during the rush hours. That's the
Right.
same trick. That's the same trick I use here. If I can avoid being on the road for rush hour, I work the other hours. The less busy, it's easier to get around.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I go if I have to go to downtown Orlando or something. I try to either go early in the morning or later in the evening. But usually, if you go to downtown, you're going to maybe have fun or something because there's really no shopping or anything like that I would want to do. But Disney is west of downtown, and that's where the traffic gets bad. So it's unbelievable. It can take a few hours to get from one end to the other, and you're not going that very far, really. So I try to avoid that.
Yeah, me too. Now, sometimes you can't. Like, my boss is having a meeting in Manhattan in November, and actually, and it's like at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, which means I'll have to deal with that rush hour traffic. There's not going to be any way to avoid it, and I'm not taking a subway. So I'm actually thinking about taking a vacation so I don't have to go to that meeting.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
funny.
idea.
Well, the thing is that I'm serious. I'm probably going to take vacation so I can miss that meeting.
So JG, you haven't lived in countryside. I mean, you've been living in the city all your life.
Yeah, the closest thing I live to the country, and if people know the area, it's really not that small. It's not like a real small time vibe. I lived in Rochester, New York, for 1 year, and then I had enough. Small town. I mean, that's not even a small town. I think there's like I don't know 2 or 300,000 in the vicinity, so it's not like it's tiny. But just I went up there. I was there just for a few days, and then I went into this restaurant where I think it was the waitress came up to me and like it's small enough where they notice new people, like you stand out, and as soon as I open my mouth they know I'm from the city and not from upstate. And then she said something that creeped me out. She said, yeah, I already know your whole story. And I'm like, what do you mean? And like, well, you're the new person in town and everybody's got the scoop, just gossip everywhere. I don't think I'd be comfortable in a small place where everybody knows your business.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
The thing about like the city is what's good is that you can be like anonymous. You can be right in the middle and center of everything and just, float by. Nobody notices.
Yeah, that's true. You know, when I was living in Jackson, it could be like that. But if you were, I don't know, you kind of had a little bit of both in Jackson. But Jackson's a small city, really.
Yeah, it's probably like a Rochester size.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's about 150,000.
Yeah. Howdy, BT.
Hey, BT, how you doing, man? Good to see you. But now, if you include all the suburbs around Jackson, you've got that turns into a lot more people.
Right, that's exactly how Rochester is. Like right there, it's probably about the 150, but yeah, all the suburbs, then it adds up to 300 or something.
Yeah, I think it's around 300,000 or 400,000.
Which is not small, but it still has a small enough feel.
Right, exactly.
BT is in Palawan, no?
BT's living large. I still say I never seen BT's the only expat I know that upgraded his lifestyle a lot by moving to the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
He did without more in the US than he has in the Philippines right now. And now he's living it up with those rich folk in Palawan.
So, what did you experience when you,
Oh, he,
JG, when you go to the provinces here in the Philippines? I
Well,
think Cebu City is very nice, right? But how about in Davao?
oh, Davao. Well, Davao's actually kind of it's a city. I would say it's like on par with Cebu. I didn't like it as much though because I don't know. I just felt like it was too militant there, like too many police everywhere, and I don't know, a lot of Muslims. I just didn't get a good feel there. Plus, I got food poisoned, so it wouldn't be fun. But like, I don't even think of that as like a small place. I don't know that I actually been to a really small town there. But like, even without whether I was or wasn't, is that when you're just going for a couple days, I mean, you can get on anywhere. I think whether it's the crazy city or the middle of the boonies, for a couple of nights. It's fun. I think it's different, if you're gonna live there or not. Like I cannot see living out in the middle of nowhere, whether that's here in the U.S. or in the Philippines. I couldn't do that. At smallest, I would think like a small city like Cebu, but I really do like Manila. I know Manila gets pooped on a lot, but I like it, and I understand it being a big city that has different neighborhoods with different feelings. I mean, that's how New York is. I mean, if you go in any direction, you'll be like in a completely different community, culture, everything, and it's just the vibe that you get from it. Like BGC would be nothing to move to. I don't think Makati would be simple to move to.
Yeah,
I kind of like parts of like
very,
Quezon City and stuff like that.
very expensive.
Well,
The
nice, safe, access to good things.
yeah, it's good to live there if money is not an issue, but it's very expensive there. Even just renting a condominium and all like that, it's really very expensive.
Yeah, I seen some of the prices of BGC. I mean, listen, everything's relative. I live in a much more expensive place. So when I see that, I realize that it's high for Philippines, but it's not high for what I see every day.
But Philippines is small. If you mean you can live at small town, but you can still go to the city. Just drive like couple of hours near the city.
See, I'd rather do it the other way. Live in the city full time, and then when I need quiet time or just want to get away, then go to the country places.
You ever consider going to Palawan, JG?
No, Palawan. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, that would have to be like I would prefer to go like if I'm in a relationship than just go there solo. That's like the same thing I say about Hawaii. You know, Hawaii, I'd love to visit. It's beautiful, but I really wouldn't want to go there just as a single guy.
Look at BTO. He sounded like he really loves Palawan.
Well, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful area.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew after all these years, BT find out he's a beach boy?
Oh, I know. She
Oh,
said
he
that
wants to live there.
he's there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think TT's over there too.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
says that he's with him and Betty are with Tim and Ray.
Oh, they are. Okay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I watched Tim build, his house over there with the store in the front and everything. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing nice about living in the city is you can pretty much get whatever you want any time of the day.
Now,
Yeah,
I am 100%. I am 100% on board with that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'll tell you though, the funny thing is, and maybe Radio Man will agree, but even if you don't need anything, for quite a while like that, you just like to know that you have the access to it.
That's so correct. Yeah, that's true. I used to go to Astoria, where I'm sure JG, you know where that's at.
Oh yeah.
But I can remember my brother lived there, so I'd go up and visit him and stay for a while. It's nice to some of the bakeries they have up there.
Astoria has great restaurants
you
and
can
bars.
go get a nice
You get
banana
Greek
cream
food.
pie at 11 o'clock at night if you want.
Yeah, they have. I mean, yeah, that's a great neighborhood actually. Astoria. It's very expensive to live there.
Yeah. My brother used to live there, but he finally wanted to get his kids out, so he ended up moving here. But it is a nice little area, and what I noticed up there is I got a kick out of all the little stores that they had in the houses. The little corner stores. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, we call them bodegas, which would be the sari store of the Philippines.
Yeah. And every time you bought a can of soda, you got a straw with it. I thought that was so cool.
We be fancy here.
Yeah, I see that. But I've been there quite a few times. It was pretty neat. But that the food up there is out of this world. And of course, you know all about pizzas.
Oh yeah,
get some good pizza up there.
They do. No, Astoria is very cool. My cousin lives there actually, and she pays a lot of rent for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what my brother paid, but it wasn't that big of an apartment.
No,
I think he lived
small.
on. Seems to me Steinway or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember anymore.
Yeah,
but,
that goes right through Astoria. Sure.
Yeah. I can remember walking downtown and going to the bakeries and the clothing stores. They had a lot of them up there too. So.
Yeah, no, it's a great New York neighborhood. That's what I think. Like Manila, like you can find those like equivalent neighborhoods. It's something like that.
Yeah.
And even while maybe expensive to the average Filipino, but from what prices that we see for it, looks like a bargain.
Yeah, true. That's kind of that way in Orlando here too. I mean, if the average cost of an apartment is just ridiculous, but typically then you just end up making more money, and at the end of the month you have the same amount left over as everybody else does in different parts of the world.
Well, that's the thing. That's always the case. people spend like almost what exactly everything they make, or even maybe a little more.
Yes, that's true.
So, my questions for you guys is that what do you think is the most interesting place in the state where you live in? I mean, if uh you will have a visitor from the Philippines, what place would you recommend? Uh, Bruce, can you start answering that question?
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, what
Uh,
place would you recommend first? I mean, when it comes to you, to where you live.
yeah. I would. Uh, I guess the first place I would recommend, or suggest that they go would be, if they wanted to just travel around the state, would be to go down to the Gulf Coast, and because that's probably the most popular place to go in Mississippi is down on the coast. Uh, you know, there are casinos down there, and you know, uh, but you're down near the water and that kind of thing. You know, and then if I let's see, well, there's some other places too, like Natchez is a very historical place. Uh, it's got a lot of old antebellum homes there, and yeah. Then Vicksburg, that's another place that's full of history. You know, there's several different like lakes around the state that they could go to, and state parks. Uh, and then there's a parkway called the Natchez Trace Parkway. Uh, that it's part of the National Park Service. And anyway, it's a beautiful drive going up and down it. Uh, yeah, you're not going to have a lot of the big, unless you go somewhere where there's maybe a casino. You know, Mississippi doesn't have, uh, a lot of places where you've got a lot of big nightlife type atmospheres.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, I mean, around in the Jackson area and around in the suburbs, there are places you can go, like where there's like live entertainment, where
Mhm.
you get like drinks and eat. There's a lot of restaurants. Uh, of course, most of the food is going to be uh, southern
Mhm.
type food. Uh,
Oh
So how about there in Florida, Radio Man?
oh man, we have a lot to do down here. Of course, I don't know, but I think it's the number one tourist spot in the country. I think Orlando. I'm talking about. Of course, you could spend a lot of time, and of course, with that comes money. But of course, we got all the theme parks, and then there's a lot of small theme parks too in the area. And then, of course, the beach is only maybe an hour away too. And of course, we got the uh, NASA's down here, of course, so you can go watch a rocket blast off or whatever, the Space Coast, which is less than an hour away. So we got tons of things to do down here.
yeah,
Mhm.
Florida's probably the number one. tourist destination just about anywhere in the country.
Yeah, I think so. Like I was saying earlier, I know at one time, the last time I checked, which was a couple years ago, I think we get 1 million visitors a week here. So I
Wow,
mean that's a lot of people, and that's
that is a
most of them
lot
are
of
going
people.
to the theme parks. I know. I think I don't know what the capacity of like Disney is, but I think it's around 50 or 60,000 people that are in that place at any one time. So I mean it's a busy place. Of course, there's other theme parks that are pretty good size too that have thousands and thousands of people, and then there's a lot of we got a long strip down here. It's called I Drive, and there's a couple smaller type things down there. Like I think we got the second biggest Ferris wheel in the world there, and you can go ride that if you want, or just all kinds of things to do. And of course, a lot of nice restaurants and things like that. So, but it's a nice place. But I've been down here for a while, and I really don't care to go to places like that anymore. But if I have friends come down, of course, the first thing they want to do is run down to the theme park. So I have to do my obligation and go with them.
Mhm. How about in New York City, JG? I mean, it's when talk about New York City, it's a very popular city. I mean, uh, what you
Well, I never, I
recommend?
would, I would never thought that I would like, defend my city or say something good about it. But if you're from overseas and you're coming to America, New York is where you want to be. I mean, we have everything: Statue of Liberty, the Freedom Tower, the Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building, nightlife, restaurants, everything at your access. I mean, you can eat authentic Turkish food or think up any country's food, Ethiopian. We have everybody here. And, nightly, I mean, Broadway, the sports teams. And that's just in the city. Now, if you consider the entire New York State, I mean, I could drive 2 hours away and be skiing down a mountain, and you can get as country as you like. You like history? There's history up and down New York's city and state. So, I mean, there's like nothing you can, like, whatever you want to do, you can find it here, just in this one state. You don't even need to visit another one. But it's a great place to visit. I mean, if you're coming from, especially overseas, like I can see why, like, some country bumpkin here in the U.S., wouldn't want to go to New York City. It might overwhelm them. But, if you're coming from Philippines, name any country, really, this is what people think of America, is New York City. So,
I'd love to visit New York City at least once if I ever
yeah, I
could.
think everyone should. And I really feel that way. And it's not like I think everything's perfect, because I know it's not, but I think it's a great experience, especially
Well,
if that's for one time or two times.
yeah. Well, it's just not a perfect world, period.
No, but like, depending on what you're into, like, foodies would freaking go crazy here. I mean, we
Mhm.
have gourmet street food, vendors in the street selling things for $8, $9, $10 that are like from a restaurant that you're sitting down in, So, I mean, you
Right.
really can get everything.
Yeah, it is definitely a great place to visit. I always enjoyed Manhattan. Also going to the park, and it's a pretty cool place. You can walk down there at midnight, and this place is still jam packed with people. It's in Times Square, man. That's pretty cool to visit.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to get out of my meeting next month, because it's right in Times Square. I don't want to commute in that.
Wow.
But I mean, there's everything. There's like little things, like they have what they call handsome cabs. It's just a horse and buggy driving down the streets of Manhattan, and you're a couple, and you're just holding hands and smooching once in a while. I mean, there's like everything. You like beaches? Come in the summer. We got plenty of beaches.
So my next question is I'm full of questions. My next question is there any city that you want to go that you haven't been to? Like your dream city. Let's talk about city first. I mean, is there a city that you really want to go to someday, or a dream place like that you want to go? Uh Answer Jaman first. Is there any city that you want to visit?
Yes, you must direct the question.
Well,
Jaman can answer first.
yeah.
Deval Don said Key West, Florida. Uh,
Mhm.
Who's
wow.
answering first? Oh,
Jaman answer first. That do you have
oh.
a city that you want to go? You know, someday like that.
Well, I guess here in the U.S., I've been to I think most places. I haven't been to the Northwest though, like Seattle or anything like that. That'd be kind of cool. Wouldn't mind going to Vancouver area, which is kind of up in that same vicinity, or Vancouver Island. And of course, it'd be really cool to go to the Philippines to experience that culture and check that place out. But I've been to quite a few places, but it's always I really enjoy traveling. I do it quite a bit, so it's fun to me exploring new places. So, but as far as a number one place, I can't really think of anything, right off the top of my head. But especially here in the U.S.
How about you, Bruce?
Deval Don is recommending people to avoid New York City at all costs. Oh boy. Uh, I'd love to go to Honolulu. You know,
Lulu.
yeah,
Oh,
Honolulu, Hawaii. I've always wished that I could go to Hawaii, but yet I know it's so expensive there, And so there's a part of me that says, well, you probably would be better off not going. But let's see. Worldwide,
yeah, worldwide.
we're talking internationally, right? Okay. Uh hmm. There's a lot of places I would love to go. I don't know if I could pick a number one on that. I mean, if I could afford it, I would travel the world. You know, I would just, I would start here in the U.S. I would just travel throughout it, and then I would, start heading overseas and go to a lot of different places, like Tokyo. I'd love to go to. Uh, uh, let's see, in the Philippines, I'd love to go to Manila. I'd love to go to Cebu, Davao, Iloilo City. Uh, there's a lot of cities here in America I'd love to see. Some I already have seen, but it's been many years, so I know there's been a lot of changes in a lot of places too. Uh, you know, I'd love to go to London in the UK. Love to go to Paris, you know, in France. Love to go to Rome. You know, I would even love to go to Jerusalem. You know, I think uh, I think that would be an interesting trip.
Oh,
Actually,
I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Mhm. Yeah. Of course, I wouldn't want to go over there right now, in light of what's going on. But uh, if you didn't have what's happening over there right now going on, I would certainly love to visit it. I've got a sister, one of my sisters, and her husband got a chance to go to Jerusalem. Well, actually, they went to Israel, and usually, if you go to over there, you end up going to different places around the country. And anyway, yeah, they got a chance to go there. So a lot of history. Of course, a lot of it's biblical history. But it's quite interesting, I think, going places like that.
Mm. How about you, JG? Is there any city you wanted to visit that you
Well,
haven't
I
visited?
oh yeah. Well, in the U.S., I really don't have like a city that stands out to me that I want to visit, but I have many overseas. I mean, I the trip that I'm thinking about planning would be to Medellin. Did I stump you?
Where is that?
It's,
Medellin, Colombia.
yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say I
Colombia. Yeah.
I
Okay.
want I want to be immersed in the Spanish culture and around Spanish language because that's probably the second most heard language I hear here in New York is Spanish, and I know a little bit, but I'd like to be immersed in it and check out the city. Plus, Medellin is called the city of eternal spring, and that to me the weather sounds like San Diego, so I really want to check out Medellin.
well, JG, you could come to Orlando. It'd give you a slice of speaking Spanish.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't give me the Colombian women option though. most
Okay.
of most of the Spanish here, like I hear in New York, it's not. Once in a while, I run into Colombians, but usually it's Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Venezuelans, Guatemalans, Ecuadorians. But I with my job, like I worked in a really Spanish community. And the only way I was able to do the job was to have my partners who were bilingual basically go over all the information. And I was like constantly surrounded by the Spanish. And I got to the point where I could detect, who was speaking, like what country they were from, even though it was all Spanish. And the most beautiful Spanish I heard was Colombian.
Yeah.
So I want to go there. That's going to be my top spot. But I mean, yeah, I want to do like Bruce says, travel the world. I want to hit my southeastern countries, but I also want to hit Latin America and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'd love to go down in Latin America and uh,
South America, all of it.
I'd love to go to Mexico City and
Yeah, me too. I want to.
down in
Mexico's on the
Colombia,
list.
Panama, uh, Ecuador,
Ecuador's high on my list.
yeah, Brazil, Peru,
Yep,
Yeah. And
me too.
Chile would be a cool place too.
Chile, Argentina.
Yeah.
All of them. I want to
Yeah.
hit
Oh
my
yeah.
South American, Latin America,
Yeah.
all of that.
Mhm.
Spend a little time. Mexico. My yaya's Mexican, and I told her that I want to visit there and maybe one day move there. And she just looked at me like, "What's wrong with you?"
So my next question is
Can I ask a question?
me. Okay.
What is your number one place you'd like to visit, Emily?
Oh, good question.
Good
Good question.
question. Yes. Let's
Uh,
put the host on the hot seat.
Yeah, that's what.
As as Bruce is chewing his French fries.
um, if money is not an issue, right? Because it's always the
Yes,
issue.
we have all of this stuff we're talking about has to be if money wasn't an issue.
Yeah. Here in the Philippines, I do really want to go to Boracay, but it's an expensive trip. And also, I haven't I haven't tried traveling by plane. So just here in the Philippines, there's a lot of places I want to go, like Cebu City. Visit some relatives there because my mom grew up there, and also Davao, Palawan. The tourist spot. But abroad, I do like to visit U.S. because like I have lots of American friends online. So,
What one U.S. city would you visit first? And it's your
uh,
only trip to America. Where would you go? What ticket do you buy?
well, I have relatives in California, so probably San Francisco. I don't know if it's a good city or not, but
Oh, San Francisco's freaking beautiful.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
California.
that's another place I would love to visit.
Hmm.
And there'd be a lot of Asians there too, so you'd fit right in.
Yeah, most of my relatives,
Except they would be Japanese.
because I really don't want to go to a place that I don't know anyone, because I'm not really a traveler. I have to be with someone, or someone who will, go there at the airport to pick me up. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, just being at the airport, probably I'll get nervous.
I think you're thinking too practical about this question. It's just like, where would you want to go? Assume
Oh,
everything is all right. The money's not an issue. You either have a companion or you have someone waiting.
yes. With other countries, like, when I was younger, I like to visit Egypt like that, because we're at school, we always talk about the ancient times, like that. So when I was younger, that place, I will say that place, like Egypt, Greece, like that, because I just know them by the books. It sounds interesting to me. I hope I answered the
Oh,
question.
well,
What
like
what makes you think that you can walk like an Egyptian?
Pyramids, the Great Sphinx, like that. When you're younger, you're interested with with history, like that. So when I was younger, I would say that I want to go to Egypt and Greece. I don't, but now that I'm older, I really want to look big cities like that. Like San
Sh-
Francisco, California.
should we let it slide, guys?
yeah, I'm thinking, I'd like her to be a little more specific. I mean,
Yeah, answer was kind of lame.
yeah, we've been to Egypt, we've been to California. Really not, an answer, but I guess we're gonna have to live to learn with it. I guess.
Mhm. Oh, so my next question. Let me go back to asking. So if ever you have to live in the countryside, I mean, you don't have option to live in the city. For example, only you should only live in the countryside. Which place is that? That you think you can live there? So JG, you answer first since you live in the city. So what particular place is that? If you have to live at the countryside,
Where you talking about? The States or anywhere else?
anywhere else?
Anywhere besides the States? Oh, I don't know. I think if I was gonna like live in the country kind of setting, a province area, I'd probably go I'd go total off grid. I would be using solar panels, windmills, whatever I could. Oh, make too much electricity that I could never use, and just, I would like stock up and have freezers full of food that I like, and I'd go overboard with it. So this way, you don't have to worry. You'd have to have everything that you could ever think of on hand on premises, because you just can't go to the store, by walking 300 steps and getting whatever you wanted. So I would overcompensate for that. I don't mind. I actually feel like I like mountains. I'm not like a big beach guy. I don't love the heat, so I would be more of a mountains kind of person.
Mhm. How about you, Bruce?
Well, I'm like JD. I like the mountains too.
No.
Yeah. Uh, I would love to be able to, uh, like, go to places like up in the Smoky Mountains, Rocky Mountain. Uh, mountains. That is nice. It's
You know,
cooler.
I hate to interrupt you, Bruce, but I just wanted to say, like, when I've stayed, for like a weekend, because I used to take a lot of weekends upstate, and the mountains just made me feel good. I don't know, the air or whatever,
Oh
but
yeah,
it really agreed with me.
yeah. I can certainly understand that. I've been to up in the Great Smokies. I've been up in the Rockies, and there's just something about being up in those places. It's an amazing feeling, really. Uh, you know, it's
I'm sorry, I was reading Ken Unger's comment,
oh
and he was saying that he got stuck in San Francisco for a whole day a few months ago, and they never want to go there again. They do
yeah,
have a bit of a homeless issue there.
yeah. But seriously, I would I would love to be able, yeah, like go mountain resorts. Uh, I mean, I like that kind of stuff. I don't mind going to the like coastlines and stuff, but I just I prefer uh, going up in the mountains. It's just something really cool about it. You can also do some things like if you go up in the mountains, you can do like the whitewater rafting, kayaking, canoeing, that kind of stuff.
Skiing.
Yeah, if you're yeah skiing, if there's snow, yeah, you can go skiing. Uh, it's even in the Ozark Mountains here over in Arkansas and Missouri. Uh, they're not as high of mountains, but they've got some really cool places to go to. We got a chance back when we were teenagers. We got a chance to go up there, and we went on a big canoe trip on a
General
river.
Turtle has arrived, Bruce.
Hello, Luke.
Oh, General Turtle is in the house.
Hello, Luke. Thanks for
Hello,
coming.
Luke.
Finally.
The Valdon says the Pocono Mountains. That's in Pennsylvania. I brought many a girlfriend there for the weekend.
Just don't mess with the goats.
Yeah, well, we go horseback riding, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm. How about you, Radio Man? Where would you want to?
I like Pennsylvania. It's kind of up there in the. They're not big mountains, but a lot bigger than mountains I've been around. So, but I like it up there, and it's nice and peaceful, and of course they have big cities there. But out in the country, it's absolutely beautiful. You get into the mountainous area. You know, they're not as big as the Rockies, nowhere's near it, I guess, but you can still get some pretty big ones up there that I can't walk up the side of them. But it's very peaceful, and you know, as I get older, it's like I would really enjoy it. When I was younger, I could have cared less, but now getting older, it'd definitely be fun to have like a log cabin and maybe a helicopter pad so they could fly in my food and my cakes and things like that because I don't want to go into the city to pick it up. But it would be, I would think that'd be a good life. How about
Mm.
you, Emily?
Me, they said, I haven't been to Visayas and Mindanao, and then a lot of people are saying it's beautiful there, especially coming from foreigners. But I would still choose to live in Luzon, because I don't want to live in a place that I don't know. I cannot speak the dialect. I in Luzon, I lived in La Union. They speak Ilocano there, so I can understand a little. And my father is Kapampangan, so I can also live in Tarlac or in Pampanga, because I feel you know, uh, and I'm not that adventurous when it comes to places. I want to live in a place that I already know, that I can go around and I will feel safe. So
Yeah, really. That's I don't know. You got to have some adventure in you. That's half the fun of going to
yeah,
places.
because when you live in Pampanga, it's just less than an hour, and you can taste the beach. I mean, there's the Bataan province.
How
They
does
have,
the beach taste?
and then in Subic, and then it's close to the city also. So because then when you get older, you wanted a place that you would have the a good hospital like that.
You
It's
sound like a big chicken. I got to tell you. How about us foreigners that go over to the Philippines and yeah, I know they say Filipinos speak English, but not really. Most of them don't. Or
yeah,
going to other countries where we don't speak the language. You got to have a little grit in you. A lot of like, all right, I'm ready to try this.
That's so true. Yeah, you got to be venturesome.
Yeah.
always look, oh. Look what the turtle said. You
Don't
know,
change the subject.
no, because I have my son. No, he needs to have. I need to live in a place where there's available therapists like that.
No, but I mean, are we talking about visiting or living there?
Living, visiting is okay to visit, but to live, I'm always considering, where
Oh
there
yeah, long term. Yeah, you have to do that.
I have to be near specialists like that, school or therapy for my son. I consider that all.
I agree with you. Like me, I couldn't live nowhere where they didn't have good pizza. If I was in the Philippines, it would have to be an SNR next door or close by. So I get it. You got to pre-plan that stuff.
Mhm. Like, people will tell me, "Oh, you cook this and that." They give me a lot of recipes. But the problem is that, the availability of the ingredients. I mean, some of them you can only find in big supermarkets in Manila. It's not always available here. Like, you want to eat lobster, you cannot just go to the market here and buy lobster. They don't have it. You have to order it. You have to go to Manila or Metro Manila in farmers market to get to just buy lobster. So it's difficult to find ingredients. where I'm at. But what I think one good thing about being in the province, or especially those in living in near the ocean like that, is that you can eat, fresh food, fresh vegetables, and they are a lot cheaper there because I live in La Union for 8 years, and I miss it when I move here at my parents. I miss the food because there it's all fresh. So that's one good thing about living in the countryside. You get good food.
Well, if I lived anywhere and had like land like that in the province, I would probably have a vegetable garden and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
have that here and I don't even need it.
Do you have a, garden where you're at, JG?
Yeah, in my backyard.
Oh, that's cool.
Hello, Adrian.
I produced too much that I gave a bunch of it to the local food bank.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah.
That's cool.
Hmm. Mac Adrian is here. The karaoke king is here.
Mm.
Adrian, the karaoke king. Have you been to his live stream?
I get all my sports updates from Adrian Sports and Karaoke channel. I especially enjoy watching the KBL, the Kangaroo Boxing League. I'm very much into that.
Cool.
What's the next question?
The next question is uh for you, JG. How do you get around with the Filipinos? I mean, what was your first impression?
Um, I
Both
have a
both
favorite.
in, both in the city and in the province.
I have a favorable opinion of most Filipino people. I did see some low lifes, but I mean you're gonna find that anywhere in the world you go. But overwhelmingly, I thought the Filipino people were welcoming. They make you feel comfortable. I remember one time I was just walking down the street. Well, two things with that. Once I felt like some kids were trying to like rob me, so I just outmaneuvered them. And then there was another one where it was like a bunch of little kids, and they looked at me. I forgot what they said. Where are you from, or something? And I said, I'm a Kano. And then they just turned around to their parents and says, he knows what we call them. And I just started laughing.
Sis MK, hello. Hello,
Hey,
Sis
MK.
MK.
Ah, you guys didn't feel that was a good story? It was heartwarming when it happened to me.
Oh yeah.
I truly appreciated children's just honesty. Hey, he knows what we call them.
Oh,
So, can you say you got is it along with the city Filipinos than the
I'll tell you something that I felt when I was there. I almost felt like the Filipino people treated me better than they treat their own people. Like I felt they gave me like more respect than they would their own people. In a lot of places, I felt that.
Mhm.
Wonder why that was.
I don't know, but I because I visited with people and interacted, and I always felt I got the best treatment. Like if I was the only American there, and the rest of the people were Filipino, I got the best treatment.
You think it might have been because they wanted you to feel at home,
It could be that. It could be that
or
they see the foreigner and they think they have the money. That could be part of it too. But I didn't really get any negative vibes from it. It was overwhelmingly positive.
That's good.
And that was like in all different places, not like just in Manila. It was like a lot of the places that I went. I felt that way, and that could just be in my head, but I really don't think so.
Yeah, sounds like the people there were very hospitable.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they have their bugaboos too. Like when I was lost and asking people, if I asked two people back to back, they'd point me in opposite directions. But
Oh well, that
I don't think.
probably would happen anywhere there.
Oh man, Bruce, I was in Mall of Asia, and that mall is just like stupid big. Like shouldn't even exist. It's too big, and I couldn't find anything. So I'm asking people, and one person will point me left, the other person will point me right. Just like and then at that point, I just like picked my own way and just walked. If it was right, it was right. If it was wrong, I'd turn around.
Wow.
Well, Ken said, I got the same when over there, JG, and the people are great. However, you do feel like they treat you special.
Yeah, no, you do, and Ken would know.
Hmm. So my next question is, which is the most beautiful city you ever visited? You ever visited? Regiman, you answer first.
Well, I've been to quite a few places, but I would probably have to, if you're talking big cities, I don't.
The most beautiful city you ever visited.
Man, they each have their own special place, but I'll tell you, probably nobody will agree with me, but Miami's pretty cool. In Tampa, I like Tampa. That's a nice area. Of course, they do have areas that aren't so nice, but if you go into the nice areas, especially in the beach area, you'll see some houses that are unbelievable. I mean, huge. And so I don't know. I like. I guess I've been to all kinds of cities, I guess, but they each have their own little thing that you go there to see. And but I like my Florida cities. I don't know. I like the palm trees and the ocean and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'd have to say maybe Miami or Tampa, maybe.
How about you, Bruce? The most
I think
beautiful
the
city.
most beautiful city I've ever been to. Of course, you're talking to somebody that's never traveled outside the U.S.
Hmm.
And I would have to say Nashville, Tennessee. There's a lot of, most of where I've been to in America has been in the southern portion of it. Uh, and yeah, I would say Nashville.
Is
Uh,
Nashville like the music capital of the
yeah,
U.S.
uh huh.
The
It's
country
really,
music.
yeah, it's a
country
really
music?
cool place. Yeah, and even though yeah, it's known for the country music, of course, but uh, there was just a lot to see and do there, and I thought it was a pretty amazing place. And actually, Nashville, uh, I think, is now the largest city in Tennessee. At one time, Memphis was, and it was that way for a long time. But Nashville has actually grown larger, and or at least the Nashville metropolitan area has. Uh, but it was really nice. You're uh, in the Cumberland Plateau area, which is very hilly, and there's a lot of forest, a lot of beautiful homes. Uh, let's see, just there was just a lot you could say about it. The Cumberland River, we got a chance to go on a riverboat out on the Cumberland River. That was real nice. Uh, So it's but that's like I say, that's places that I've been to. Colorado Springs was beautiful. Of course, you got Pikes Peak right there, and that's a beautiful sight to see. When you can go outside and there's Pikes Peak right there. Uh, you know, Colorado Springs is right there at the foot of Pikes Peak, and so that was a beautiful place too, but it wasn't as big, and you know, uh, but yeah, Nashville, I would say it's number one for me. You know, there's been a few other nice cities that I've been to, or at least uh, they were pretty attractive, but I would say Nashville was definitely number one.
How about you, JG? Which is the most beautiful city you've been to?
Well, excluding my own city, I would say the most beautiful city I've been to is Amsterdam. I really enjoyed it going to the Netherlands. They they're like canal specialists. Like I think their land is actually below sea level, so they have to use a series of dams to keep from being flooded. So they have like all these canals going through the city. Everybody there rides bicycles. It's amazing. I like when we go to like a U.S. Mall and see the parking lot filled with cars. When in the Netherlands, in the Holland, you would see just bicycles like lined up all over the place. Not even motorbikes or motorcycles, actual bicycles. And the other thing about those people is that 6'2" is like a short Dutchie, and that's just the women. The men are even taller than that. So I felt like I was in the land of the giants. But aesthetically, just looking at it, seeing Amsterdam,
I like it.
that's funny. But also, like I learned a little bit about Amsterdam, and the way their tax system works is that the wider the building, the more taxes you pay. So what a lot of people did was they built like very narrow. Excuse me, I'm getting a cough drop because I'm coughing. But they would build very narrow homes, but they would build them really tall. So I mean, like you could like literally reach out your arm from one wall to the other. That was the whole house, but it would go up like 5 stories. So it was just yeah, it was really like that, Bruce. But no, that was I think my most beautiful city. I mean, they have everything, windmills, I loved it. It was beautiful. Very expensive.
One of my sisters, her and her husband are up in Amsterdam right now.
I'll tell you, New York is basically becoming the Amsterdam of the world because now we have legal gambling. I mean, you can do it right on your phone. All the lotteries, the jackpots, all of that's on an app. Weed is legal, and now well, this part is bad because it's illegal, but like prostitution is coming. They almost have like a walking street here in New York City now.
Wow.
Mhm. So I'm curious, yeah, because JG. I mean, you all live in different places, but here in the Philippines, even its country, or I mean, the countryside or the city side, we usually know our neighbors. I mean, in the city, uh, most most time you can interact with people is during nighttime because you know people are at work, or at school. But at nighttime, usually when I was living in Pasig, people go to the uh, covered court. They rent that for the night for a basketball game, or the badminton court. And there are some that they make like they will put their basketball court at the street, so they play there during nighttime. And even the kids, they play badminton in the street at night. So uh, we know our neighbors, huh? I mean, how about there in New York, JG? And then, do you know your neighbors?
Well, I'll tell you, Ems, in terms of that, I think it is locational. Like if you live in a province area or what I would call here the country area, then I think you're more apt to know your neighbors because God forbid anything happens, you may need them. In the big city where you have, you're just a phone call and a few minutes away, help or anything that you want. But like for me, myself, yes, I know one neighbor, they hate my guts to no end. And then I have another neighbor that, spoke at my father's wake, so I have a great neighbor on one side, not so great neighbor on the other side. But even like the one that hates my guts, at least I know I don't have to worry about them, harming my property or anything like that. And they know that about me. But other than that, they just hate my personality.
Because here in the Philippines, sometimes we cook, and we will cook a lot. And then especially when there's occasion, we will knock on our neighbor's door, and here's pancit, here's noodles, here's spaghetti, like that.
You see, I think that would be an individual experience because, like, I have like a rare house here. I'm like fully detached, and in the city, having a fully detached home is a big deal, even if it's just a few feet away. But there are plenty like buildings, whether it's low income buildings or high luxury buildings, where there's just all apartments next to each other, and that'll depend. Like I know my sister lives in two condos, one here and one in Florida, and she doesn't know any of her neighbors. She just hears like if they're doing remodel and stuff like that, but they don't actually they're not friends. They're just like they may say hello to each other on the elevator passing by.
Yeah. How about you, Bruce? How's your neighborhood there where you live?
It's very quiet. Uh, I have met the people across the street, but we rarely see each other, you know. And I've seen, I have talked to a few other people that live around here, but see, usually when I'm here, uh, I mean, gosh, everybody kind of, nothing's really that close as far as like the houses and stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. You would think I would know more people out here, but I don't because I moved out here and because so much of my time since I've been out here, I've spent it working, you know, and I wasn't, uh,
Yeah, and Bruce, I'll tell you, I completely get what you're saying. Like even here in the city, we have more neighbors around, but
yeah,
everybody's on a different schedule. Like there's people I know that live in the house and I never see them. They're on a different clock than me.
yeah. It just, you don't really see anybody, you know. And every once in a while, I'll see the people over across the street. We'll wave and that kind of stuff. But they don't come visit me. I don't go visit them. But I tell you what, if they ever had an emergency and needed my help, I'd be glad to help them. You know. Uh, Now I do know of a few people that live out here now, that were actually from the Jackson area originally, and they moved out here, you know. But I mean, the population of the town of Braxton, it's not even 200 people out here. That's small. That is like a village, you know. And
That's like Children of the Corn.
well, you almost would think that. And no, I don't squeal like a pig to bow down.
How about you, Radio Man? How's the neighborhood there?
I live in a pretty nice neighborhood, so I know several of the neighbors, but not all of them. But most of the people I do know. So, and they're friendly. We get a lot of what we call snowbirds that they're only here for like 4 or 5 months, and they go home. So I have a few of those kind of neighbors, that come down from wherever, New York or
New
wherever.
York.
Yeah, we get a lot of people that come from New York, upstate New York mostly, but and come down for we call it our winter, so so they can get some warmer temperatures. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I know a lot of my neighbors, but not all of them, I guess.
Emily, there's a lot of New Yorkers in Florida, all over Florida. And like, if there's like a sporting game, like a basketball game, the Knicks are playing the Orlando Magic or something, there'll be just as many New Yorkers in the stand as there are people from Orlando.
Yeah, that's true. I used to go to a lot of Magic games, and that's so true for a lot of the teams. Same thing in Tampa with the football team.
And the Rays, the baseball team.
Yeah, exactly. You'll go there. Sometimes there's more.
Way more Yankee fans than Tampa Bay fans.
Well, the Yankee, they have a, I don't know if it's AA or AAA, but they have a stadium over there. And that thing's always packed in spring training. That's a really nice stadium. And that's the place I used to go there once in a while, and always enjoyed it. Very nice stadium. But yeah, they have a following like nobody else.
Yeah, that's George M. Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah.
And that's where the Yankees headquartered.
Yeah, it's very nice ballpark. It's fun to go there.
I actually, I guess really I know more people that live back up in the Jackson area than I do people that live out here,
Mm-hmm.
And
Bruce, when you lived in the city life in Jackson, like, were you renting an apartment? Like, how did you live there?
different places. In my early adult years, and I got married when I was like 22. Karen,
My gulai.
yeah, yeah, Karen and me, we moved around to different places. But we were renting, and we were party animals.
Were you really?
Seriously, we were a couple of party animals.
A lot of nightlife.
Yeah, a lot of nightlife.
That's cool.
We would take off and do things. We'd go out in the country sometimes, go canoeing. There's some nice little rivers around out.
When would you do that? Like on the weekends?
Yeah, go on the weekend.
Yeah, so I mean, you're very similar to, like, I lived in the city and I would go out to the country on the weekends, and
Yeah. And there's this one place that we went to that's it's down in South Mississippi, and it was a little river called Okatoma. And anyway, there was people that came up there from New Orleans and would go there, and so we ran into that kind of situation. But that was
So
years ago.
when you lived in the city, I mean, I would imagine if it's like most cities, there's more noise and stuff like that you had to deal with than living out in the sticks.
Oh yeah, yeah. You definitely had more noise in the city, but it wasn't. I don't know. I mean,
Not
because
overwhelming.
not overwhelming because mainly because most of the places, unless you lived like in an apartment complex or something, now could get to be difficult at times depending on who you had living right there around you. Uh, I have lived in places where there was people that lived upstairs from us that would, be quite noisy,
Sure.
and
The reason I ask you that, because I don't know. I do know this song, the Neil Diamond song, "Beautiful Noise,"
mm,
and he's basically singing like how the sound of the city, the hum of it, how you can feel it and
oh
hear it.
yeah, okay,
But he's saying, it's beautiful noise.
right, right, yeah. I'll have to look that song up right offhand. I can't recall it, but I probably have heard it
Wait for
before.
JG to sing it, to sing it.
Hmm? Well, in a way, it was, but in another way, what I like about the song is that how he loves and misses the beautiful noise, which was just the background sound of the city.
Yeah,
I would go crazy without that for too long.
okay, yeah. Yeah, you kind of miss that sometimes. I miss one of the things I miss about being up that way is being around my kids and grandkids. I do miss them. And we do get together occasionally. See, luckily, I'm not so far away that we can't visit, and you know, and we do visit one another. In fact, we visited each other on over the weekend, and I went over there Saturday, and we spent some time together, and had a nice visit. We cooked burgers out on the grill, and uh, you know, I, it was just kind of a nice little visit. At uh, my daughter and her husband, my grandkids were there, and then my son and his girlfriend were there.
I think we call that cherished moments.
Yeah, cherished moments. Yeah, exactly. I will certainly go along with that. And we have those cherished moments from time to time. Whenever we have a chance to do that. Uh, you know.
The one that I lived closest to was my aunt, who was like my second mom. And I mean, we literally lived like 6 blocks away, and I probably saw her the least. I would visit, my parents out in Staten Island, my sister out in Long Island, and my aunt, who was, right there. Probably seen her the least. It's just the way it works out.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But anyway, yeah, and there was a time when we had bought a house, but then we had to move again, and we were back renting again too, and uh, there was that dreadful day I had to file bankruptcy, which I hated that, but it freed me from a lot of debt and gave me a chance to start over, and just there's some of that stuff that happened in the past. absolutely cherished it. But then there were other things that happened that were absolute nightmares. And then, there was stuff in between all that, just,
The thing is that we are all we are is the sum of our decisions that we made. Some would be good, some would be bad, some would be great, some would be terrible. That's everyone.
exactly. And I definitely went through my share of the school of hard knocks.
Did you get your PhD in that?
Yeah, I graduated with honors. Yeah, Luke, the good and bad things in life. That's right.
That's all right, Bruce. I got my master's in DUMB, so I'm right there with you.
Oh boy.
I I have another question. No, I'm just curious if is it like every state has a capital city, right?
Oh yeah.
I just wanna know if the capital city is that real the best city in the state, for example, in
Absolutely not.
Not necessarily. It depends on what state it is. First of all,
how about in your state where you live, Mississippi, Bruce?
no, it's not the best place.
Which
The,
one
the
is
all
what's the capital city of
the
Mississippi?
suburbs around Jackson are nice, but Jackson itself is terrible.
Uh,
So if you,
Jackson is the capital city.
Mhm.
Na. There is a-
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, a lot of the people that used to live in Jackson, they went, they went north, south, east, and west getting out of it, and
Mm.
yeah, some of them moved further out, far enough out to where they don't have to worry about paying municipal taxes. They live in the out in the sure enough country, but uh, and then there's people that left Mississippi too, and you can't really blame them. I mean, you know, and the ones that left that most all of the ones that I know that left Mississippi, uh, are uh, probably have a better life now than they had here. I know two people actually. Uh, One of them left here when he was like 18, I think. Right after he got out of high school, he moved to Alaska,
Mhm.
and anyway, he ended up becoming a taxidermist up there,
Mm.
and he's got a very successful taxidermy business. Uh, but then there's another guy that I know that uh, he retired from the city of Jackson's fire department, and he ended up living in Florida for a while. I think at Daytona, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, now he's living up in Alaska. Don't ask me why he went from Florida to Alaska. I don't know, but you know, but
How about Florida? Florida, what's the capital city of Florida, Regioman?
Tallahassee, and I think it's a pretty nice. It's way in the northwest corner of the state, up in the Panhandle. It's actually a nice, clean city. It's not real big, but I think it's a pretty nice place, but definitely not the nicest in Florida. That's for sure. But
Which
it's
which
nice.
is the nicest to you?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on what you like. It goes back to if you want city life, you'll pick one of the big three. Miami, Orlando,
Mm.
or Tampa, and Jacksonville's a big city too.
Yeah, Jacksonville. I've been to
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, actually, I think, and I'm not, don't quote me, but I think Jacksonville, area wise, is the biggest city in the country. I'm talking land wise, not people wise, population, but it's a big city. It takes a long time to get through there, but that's because they have so much land annexed out in the country. But it's a fast growing city too. So, but I don't know. It seems like Florida is kind of exploding again. It's a lot of people moving here. I don't know how many. It's thousands a day, I think. But
Wow.
so all the cities are growing.
Miami is the single worst weather city I've ever been in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean by far way worse heat than the Philippines. I mean, went there for a work thing, and like I would go out, you know, when we had breaks and lunch and stuff like that, and if I walked 10 feet, I was like dropping dead. It was so hot and humid and disgusting. I
yeah.
could
That's
never
one
live
thing.
there.
So where was
It's
this?
Miami.
Oh, Miami. Yeah.
It's a beautiful city, but like the weather and me, forget it. We don't go together.
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is humid. If you don't like hot weather, this is not a place for you to live. But in the winter times, that's the nice time. It doesn't get too cold here. So, but yeah, I agree with you. It definitely is hot down here. That's for sure. It's the humidity. It's the temperature. I don't know. Very seldom do we ever hit 100, which is still hot, but the humidity is just unbelievable. It just floors you. You don't even want to go outside. It's so hot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
The humidity.
Ems,
It's,
of the three of us, I would say that Radio Man's area is like the closest to Filipino weather.
oh yeah, probably so.
So how about there in New York, JG?
What was the question?
Uh, is the capital city the most?
Oh no, absolutely not. And in fact, I think most American states select areas that are not the best, but they want to like help the economy and stuff, so they make it like the capital. Like here, it's Albany. That's 2.5, 3 hours away from New York City. Yeah, I mean it's in the country. It's a bigger city, I would say, in the country here. But it's like right in the middle. It's not exactly like the city. It's not 100% the country. It's just like somewhere in the middle. Nothing great about it. Like a lot of the neighborhoods there are very poor. You know, they have cheap housing, but they have one good thing is that they put the state universities there, to help prop it up because people will send their kids to stay there and then they have to rent out apartments and stuff like that to help generate the economy because it's really terrible upstate New York.
Mhm.
What about you, Ems? Is the capital the best part?
Well, it is for me. You know, uh, it's traffic, but they I mean they have the bus schools like that. The hospitals and the restaurants, hotels. So I guess it is. I mean, for me.
Yeah, I think it might be. I mean, from what I experience and limited experience, but I think you're right. I think the Philippines, their capitals areas are, usually better than like the surrounding. Like here, it's the opposite. As soon as you get away from it, it gets nicer. And by the way, that's the new rule. Let's see, guys. Don't you think that, if Emily wants to have people up here and asking questions, that she has to answer at least the same question? Don't you think that's just fair?
I,
I think
I
that's
think
very
so.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
She can ask anything, but she's got to answer it too.
If you're gonna dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
I thought you wouldn't notice that.
Well, Radio Man blew up your spot, but I was gonna make sure going forward that that's the rule.
Uh,
So, we were almost 2 hours. So to sum it up, I would like each one of you to say something about what you can say about city and country life. I mean the probably advantage or disadvantage or um your preference, something like that. Let's start with Radio Man. I mean, just a summary of what we've discussed about, like, what do you think is the advantage and disadvantage of both living in the city and countryside?
Well, I would probably, if I had my choice, which I kind of do, I like the city life, but I like to live like on the furthest most suburb in a nicer area. I don't, so you have all the luxuries of the big city if you want to go downtown and have a good time or whatever you can. Or if you want to travel a short distance, you can be out in the country and seeing cows. So I'd like to live, I guess, in a bigger city, but like I say, and on the edge of town, not too far from the country, because I like both, I guess, but uh, there's good points about both of them, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm actually on the edge of town, so I don't have to go too far, and I can see orange trees and whatever. But that's the way I prefer it.
How about you, Bruce?
uh, I'm. I guess I'm kind of like a Radio Man. I kind of like it out here because it's quiet. Uh, you know, and it's not so far away that I can't, you know, get in the car and in less than 30 minutes I can, you know, be in the area of the city in about 30. Well, yeah, in about 30 minutes. Uh, and actually, you start running into uh, suburbs even closer than that, but uh, so it's not that far out of the city. Yeah, it's a drive. I mean, it's 25 miles to Jackson. Uh, my kids, it's about the same distance, I guess, about 25 miles, something like that. I think Ben may live a little bit further away than Deanna and her husband, uh, but, uh, it's, there's advantages and disadvantages to everything, you know. On one hand, living out here, yeah, it's nice and quiet and all that, but I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I went out to get in my car and crank it, and it wouldn't crank. And I had to call my son, and he had to drive all the way out here just to, you know, help me out.
Mhm.
And, but he did help me out. But, I hated that he had to drive that far, So, yeah, it helps to know some people close to where you live. So if you do have a problem, of course, if they happen to not be home, that kind of, presents a problem there. Uh, but yeah, if you're in the city or near the city, it's not that far of a drive to, like go to town, get something to eat or run to the grocery store, running Walmart or something like that, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, but you know, living up there, you don't really know a lot of times what you're going to run into, you know, as far as like, you know, certain neighborhoods, neighbors, that kind of stuff. Uh, uh, I have lived around neighbors that were somewhat annoying, you know. They would get uh, they would get loud at times and that kind of thing. But you know, most of the time, most places that I've lived, I didn't have that problem. And you know, so I don't know. There's just you're going to find advantages and disadvantages no matter where you go. And you know, I don't know. I kind of like it the way it is right now because I'm not so far away that I can't get in the car and take a drive. But it's not as convenient, uh, you know, as it would be if I say lived in uh, up in Pearl where my daughter lives, or in Brandon where my son lives. Uh, you know, that would certainly be a lot more convenient and not nearly as far away from you know certain places that you know you might need to go. You know, of course, if you have a car problem, uh, you know you're not far from a parts store up there. Now they do have one mechanic shop out here. Uh, you know, so that was one good thing about living out here was well they at least have a mechanic uh, that has a shop out here, and they even have a parts store where they can you know buy parts if you just want to buy the parts and try to do it yourself. You know, but uh, anyway. Uh, so yeah, I've seen advantages and disadvantages both ways. You know, there's times when I it felt like saying, you know, I had felt like just getting up here and making a decision to move back. But then I know if I move back, I'll be paying a lot more for a place to live, and I don't really want to have to do that. So that's been the main thing that has helped me just stay put out here. So you know, anyway, that's all. I can't think of anything else I can add to that.
Mhm. Now, JG.
Now look at you, Ems, putting the people on your panel to work for you. like like good little minions that we are.
I'm learning, I'm learning a lot also.
Well, what I would say is that, whether you're a province person or city person, whatever makes you happy, do that. That's number one. I mean, but how could I, being a city person my whole life, to me, city life is better, obviously. Like that situation that Bruce just mentioned, his car didn't start and it's a problem where he lives. Like I could just make a phone call and have someone here in like 10 minutes fixing it. So I don't really, I couldn't, I don't know that I would want to get used to having that like panic. Like, what do I do? Like anything, like if something in the house needs a repair, the car, whatever, or a fire, God forbid. So I like having all those amenities right here. So, to me, it's the city, clearly. I don't knock anybody for whatever their choice is.
I, the vote, the vote on is on my side though.
Val Don's having a lot of fun in the chat.
Yeah, I've been looking at the chat, and I'm just letting some of those questions just fly over my head because a lot
So
of it's plain
to be
ridiculous.
So to be so to be clear, Bruce, you're claiming you do not know Barney Fife.
No, I don't know Barney Fife, and no, I don't know how to make moonshine. I don't even drink.
Well, I thought it was like a Texas thing where, like, if you go to Texas, they hand you out a gun. I thought, if you lived in the South, they automatically taught you how to make moonshine.
And I don't know how to play a banjo either.
I learned something today because I thought that foreigners, as we get older, I thought the answer is they would like to live in the countryside, like most foreigners I've been watching on YouTube. They all wanted to have a farm like that, to have a big land in the province to take care of animals or have a fish pond like that. So I mean, all of that I proved that's not really the thing,
No,
that's
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that's incorrect. There are many Americans that feel that way, for sure. Like me, like if I was married and settled down and I knew I was gonna live in the States, I would look to move to more of one of those type of places, and probably someplace a little warmer than New York. So it's not 100%. This is like an individualistic question. So depending on who you get up here, they'll say what they think is right for them.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I've often thought it would be nice to live in the country, but then again, it's nice to be able to get up at midnight, and if you want a pizza, you can go get it within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
Or McDonald's or whatever.
Or anything.
Yeah. But it's nice to not hear fire engines going through your neighborhood at all hours of the night too. So I guess at the end of the day, I don't know where I want to live.
Well, no, and that's fair. I'll tell you one thing though. Like when I was growing up, we lived like right next to a firehouse, and the subway was on the same block. And like for the first month, I couldn't sleep. But after the first month, I never heard it going off at 3 o'clock in the morning no more. I just sleep right through it.
Yeah. Well, I've got a small dog here, and dogs, as a rule, usually they all howl and stuff when they hear fire trucks. Mine won't even wake up. It's so used to fire trucks and sirens.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah, you do. You get used to it. That's so true.
Just background noise in the story of your life.
Yeah.
What about you, Em? So ultimately, it sounds like you want to live in the country with your kid that's right near a school and an SNR.
No, I want to live in the province, but not too far from the city. Like what you said, because
How long is the drive? What's the longest drive that you'd be, comfortable with?
2 at least. I mean, 2 the most. 2 years. 2 years, 2 hours the most.
2 hours. Wow, that's long.
Yeah,
I
like
know.
I like the province. I told you the province Pampanga. I mean, you can live at the countryside, and I mean, San Fernando City is very nice. I mean, you can have probably because there are lots of foreigners there. They have the big malls. And the doctors there. My mom even went there for a second.
Ems.
What's that term?
YOLO. YOLO.
No, I'm not
Well,
sure though.
that's an expression a lot of people use, and it's called "you only live once." which basically means, enjoy yourself while you're alive.
Mhm. Well, I want,
On that note, I'm going to say goodbye and good night. And thanks for the
wait.
host for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you, JG, for coming, joining the panel. Also, Radio Man, thank you so much.
See
Bruce,
you
thank
later,
you so
Daisy.
much. And I also want to thank,
You're welcome, Emily.
huh?
You're welcome.
Yes, and I would like to thank also the people at the chat. Sean Williams, Davao Ken, Ken Unger was here, BT, and Betty was here also. Adrian was here. MK Show TV. She said it's raining in her place, but I did invite her. Probably next time. Luke the Great. Thank you so much, Luke. Finally, you made it to my live stream. And did I forget anyone? Awesome streaming, said.
Well, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
glad.
It
very
was a
fun.
good stream. It was a good topic.
Uh-huh.
Uh, you know, I,
No, it sounded like I'm the one that's not prepared for the question because I'm, I'm used to I'm the one that gives the question.
MK says that the rain has stopped.
Mhm. Thanks, Luke. Davao Don, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Do you have a live stream today, Bruce?
Uh, I don't. Probably not. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
How about Sis
Uh,
MK?
maybe MK might want to do one. I don't know.
Mhm. And
Uh, uh,
thanks again.
starting to yawn.
And you're not, you're not posting. Benjamin, thank you so much. I know,
You're very welcome.
yeah, thank you. I'll end the stream now. Look at look, drop a link
Oh
there.
yeah, he wants you to come see his movies.
Yeah, it's movie.
I can sleep play. Oh,
Oh,
look.
look, MK said yes after lunch.
Oh, you're gonna do a live.
Lunch,
What's
What
yes.
time is lunch?
Yeah, what time is lunch?
12 noon is the lunch time.
Oh,
So that means in 2 minutes.
Yeah, in 2 minutes. JG, wait till you see my bill. My gulay. JG, my gulay.
oh boy.
It'd be kind of fun to do a live stream where the panel asks the host the questions.
The partner will ask the host. That's not fun.
Well, no, I could. I think that would be a good idea.
Probably when it's my birthday, but it's already I mean, my birthday is September 8th, so no questioning anymore. You have to wait. You will
Yeah.
put me on the hot seat, ah. Oh my goodness, I can imagine myself blushing probably with your questions, no? I mean, if
Well, your face is the same color as your shirt.
now I agree with Radio Manu, it goes. So, see you on Thursday.
Alrighty. Well,
Thursday is my singing career. Every Thursday is my singing career. Guys, let me be a star for for a
Oh
day.
wow. Okay.
Just an hour of me singing.
That'll be when.
Yeah, Thursday. And the discussion panel is every Tuesday. That's my plan.
Alrighty, well, have a good evening, and thanks for inviting me up. And goodbye to everybody in the chat. I enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
All right,
Adios.
radio man. Take care.
All right, bye bye.
Hey, Bruce. Bruce,
Bye
take
bye.
care and take
Yes,
care
thank you,
also.
Emily. You take care too.
Good night
All right.
to those who will sleep and
Yeah. Good night.
for those who are the back or at the background and didn't join the chat. I know, you know. Thank you for your support.
All right. See you later.
Davao Danoy. Thank you. Are you singing eight? Yes, 80s next time. Thank you all. Take care.